Anyhow, today I was going down memory lane a little bit. Got a story that give me a good chuckle just remembering it again, and I thought maybe some of you guys get a chuckle out of it as well. Anyhow, I'm not going to name any names here or try not to give any hints as to who the characters in this story were, because didn't ask their permission. I don't want to embarrass them in any way if they'd happen to come across my tiny little channel here. Not very likely, but it could happen, and if that be the case, I don't want to embarrass people, so we're gonna just stick to acronyms instead of their real name. So anyhow, way back when, before I had a driver's license, go down to Indiana, where I had family down there, and I'd work sometimes summer, sometimes winters, and just as a teenager, it was just a good time to hang out with family and friends that I grew up with. I worked with family as well, and then on the weekends you'd go and hang out with cousins and friends and do a little drinking, maybe a little dancing, a lot of talking. It's a lot of bullshit. It was good times. Anyhow, this one weekend I took off up north, we called it, with buddy number one and buddy number two, and driving our buggy. And well, one of them boys is horse and buggy, but we'd all go together because it was just funner. I tell you, those weekends, the funnest part usually wasn't the party, but it was traveling to the party. Them long horse and buggy rides were fun. But anyhow, we went out on our weekend. We had some fun, and we're coming home. It's a Sunday night. When you're driving a buggy, they got blinkers on. It's slow-moving vehicle blinkers. They're orange in the front, red in the back. That way, faster traffic knows that there's a horse and buggy up ahead. You can see the lights blinking in the dark. And some of the buggies would have a distinct blinking pattern. And we had another friend who had a two-wheeled cart that he would drive, and one of the blinkers must have had electrical short, because it's kind of flicker, flicker, blink, blink, flicker, 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 blink, blink. And coming up behind us down the road is this two-wheeled cart. It's really dark. You can't even make out the features of you can't even make out the build of the driver, let alone. But we could tell from the reflection of the lights that it had two wheels, and one of them lights was flicker, 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 blink, blink, flicker, 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 blink, blink. So buddy number one's like, "Hey, I think that's so-and-so back there, our other good friend. Let him catch up, let him catch up." And then get up to the stop sign. I want to hop off and hitch a ride home with him, since he's going the same direction I am, because I haven't talked to him all weekend. It's got to be him. All right, so we get to the stop sign, we slow down, and buddy number one was driving. I was a passenger. But buddy number two, he hops off, and he goes running over to the other buggy to get a ride. And buddy number one had just kicked his horse up to a jog, and he just starting to take off. And at that time, I was watching buddy number two going back to that two-wheeled cart behind us, and he's doing this funny little prance, kind of like he always liked to goof off. He's doing this funny little prance and snorting like he's a horse, kind of. And he's coming up to that cart, and all of a sudden he hears a voice. "Do you need a ride home?" And he's frozen his tracks. His head looks up, deer in the headlight looks, and he's like, "No thanks, just going for a jog." And he spun right around, and he hoofed it as fast as he could for our buggy. And he was putting on some good speed. He did not want to ride home with that driver here. The young lady at the time, we thought she was old. You know, we were in our teens, and she was a 26, 30-year-old single lady. And not one of us wanted to be caught riding home with an old maid, we thought she was. And so I'm not very nice, so I grabbed the lines away from the driver, buddy number one, and I slapped the horse with the lines and trying to get it to go faster, but the horse was tired. It really didn't go. I got it to pick up a little speed. I thought it'd be the greatest joke of all to have, if my buddy had to ride home with this woman, whom everybody knew, and I thought it'd have been a hilarious thing. And I'd have told everybody, and I wouldn't have been very nice about it. But our other friend, luckily, he had a little more compassion than me, and he grabbed the reins back from me and stopped the horse so buddy number 2 could hop back on the buggy. And come to think back on it, I think we're all working together on the same crew, and I'd have had to work with that guy Monday morning. That would not have been a good idea. I was kind of an ornery sense of humor back then. I thought it'd be the funniest thing in the world, but yeah, I can still remember. No thanks, going for a jog. Woof.